Dive into the world of sperm whales. You may observe a group of sperm whales floating vertically near the water's surface. Don't panic. It's just their way of sleeping. Sperm whales sleep for 10 to 15 minutes each time, and only about 7% of their day. Interestingly, they sleep with half of their brain functioning at a time. It's important that they pay attention to breathing even in their sleep, as they don't breathe involuntarily like humans do. With the halves of their brain taking turns sleeping, sperm whales are able to stay active and keep breathing. Whales can be surprising helpers in the fight against climate change. One way they reduce carbon is through something called the whale pump. Whales often feed in deep waters and release their feces near the surface. Their feces contain rich nutrients and encourage the growth of plankton, which in turn remove a large amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. What's more, there's also whale fall. While all living things build up carbon in their bodies, whales store a whole lot more because of their size and long lives. When they die, their bodies sink, taking the carbon to the ocean floor. This keeps the carbon out of the air for centuries.
Welcome back, everyone, to English for You. I'm Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
So, everyone, we were talking about sperm whales and how special they actually are. Now, Elsie, here we go for the test. Can you remember one thing that makes them so cool or unique?
I know, it's the fluid that's in their heads.
That's right. It can help them dive deep and other things. And let's find out more about these whales. All right. Jumping into our article, everyone, it says, you may observe a group of sperm whales floating vertically near the water surface. Don't panic. Observe is a verb to see or notice somebody or something. An example we could use would be, everyone in the office observed John coming in late, covered in rain from the storm.
Observe 这个动词呢是观察、注意到或是察觉。那我们可以怎么使用它呢？我们可以在 observe 后面加上 that 以及一个子句，或者是呢，我们可以说 observe somebody doing something 也可以。那如果你在 observe 的字尾加上 are， 就是 observer， 那就是观察者。那另外呢，我们在课文里面还看到这个副词是 vertically 垂直的，那相反就会是 horizontally。那形容词呢，垂直的就是 vertical， 那水平的就是 horizontal.
Right. And so when you are watching these whales and you might be on a boat or you might be, on a cliff and you see them, it says don't panic when you observe them because maybe why? It says in that sentence panic. So don't panic, everyone. Panic is a verb. It means to get really scared or nervous and act without thinking clearly. So an example sentence we could all use is, when the fire alarm went off, everyone panicked and ran for the exits.
Panic 这个动词呢是感到恐慌或是惊慌失措的。那在例句里面呢用了一个过去式，所以过去式跟过去分词怎么办呢？你就在字尾加上一个 K， 再加 ED 就可以了。所以你可能会看到一群抹香鲸在水面附近垂直漂浮floating vertically.
So strange.
Do not panic. 你不要惊慌。
Right, and why don't we panic, right? If you see all the big whales and they're like this,
and why are they doing that?
Well, exactly. Let's find out. It says, it's just their way of sleeping. Sperm whales sleep for 10 to 15 minutes each time and only about 7% of their day.
哇，所以他们会这样子垂直在那边漂浮，就是因为他们在睡觉。那抹香鲸呢，每次睡觉都会睡10到15分钟，那一天当中呢，只有大约 7% 7% 的时间是在睡觉。
Yeah.
What about a cat?
I'd say 80%, 90%. But it'd be weird, right? You're watching these whales, and if you're observing them, imagine, look at me, it'd be like this. It'd be strange watching them sleep like that. Well, let's find out more. It says, interestingly, they sleep with half of their brain functioning at a time. There we see at a time, which means just one instance or occurrence. An example would be, I can only handle one task at a time. I tell you that all the time too. You'll be like, oh, I'm cleaning dishes, and you're like, hey, Adam, can you do something else? And I'm like, no, I can't. I can only handle one thing at a time.
At a time 就是一次每次。所以呢，课文说有趣的是啊，他们也就是抹香鲸们睡觉的时候，每次都有半边的大脑在运作。
Can you handle more things than me at a time?
No, I can only handle one at a time, just like you.
Yeah, most people, yeah. But kids these days, they can maybe do more things than one at a time with video games and other things all at once. So, all right, well, finding out more about these awesome creatures, it says, it's important that they pay attention to breathing even in their sleep, as they don't breathe involuntarily like humans do.
哇，那在这边呢，我们看到今天的 language in focus 是什么呢？ Let's find out. 今天的 language in focus 我们要讲到的这个句型是 it 加上 be 动词加上形容词再加上 that 子句。那这个句型呢，它是以 it 当作虚主词。那句子的真正主词在哪里呢？就是 that 所引导的名词子句。那为了避免这个 that 名词子句当主词的时候太长，我们就会用 it 当虚主词，先放在主词的位置，然后把真正的主词往句子后方丢。那主词补语呢，就会是形容词，表示对这个 that 子句的评价。所以呢，给同学们一个例句咯。It is important that you follow the rules. 你遵守规则是很重要的。那另外呢，我们还讲到说啊，名词子句除了可以由 that 来引导之外，也可以使用由 how 所引导的名词子句，像是呢 It's sad how plastic bottles have just been left all over the beach. 塑胶瓶就这样被四处弃置在海滩上，真是让人感到难过。那回到课文里面来，这个句子在讲的是呢，在睡觉的时候仍然要注意呼吸是很重要的哈，因为呢抹香鲸们不像人类那样会自动的呼吸。
With the halves of their brain taking turns sleeping, sperm whales are able to stay active and keep breathing. There in that sentence, everyone, we see take turns verb ing or take turns doing something, which means to do something one after another, with each person or thing getting a chance to do it. So an example sentence would be, they take turns playing his Nintendo Switch.
Or like us, we take turns washing the dishes.
Or we take turns talking to you guys.
OK, 所以 take turns doing something 就是轮流点点点，依次点点点。那再来呢，我们在句子当中看到的 halves， 它的单数是a half， 也就是一半的意思 half。那复数就是把这个 f 去掉，加上 bes 就可以了。所以随着大脑的两半这样子轮流的睡觉，抹香鲸能够保持活动和呼吸。
Wow, I mean, these sperm whales seem like they're, almost like superheroes of the oceans. They can do so many different things, and we're going to find out more about what else they can do. It says, whales can be surprising helpers in the fight against climate change. One way they reduce carbon is through something called the whale pump. All right, so we see reduce, which is a verb. It means to make something smaller, less, or lower in size or amount. An example sentence we could say is, my wife always tells me I need to reduce my sugar intake.
Your wife is really wise.
Oh, my wife is very wise. No more Coca-Cola.
Reduce 这个动词呢是减少跟降低，那后面可能会加上价钱啦、时间或是总量。那这边我们讲到的 reduce carbon 就是减少碳排放。Carbon 指的就是碳。 Carbon dioxide 指的就是二氧化碳。那另外呢，可以搭配 reduced， 还有像是 waste。reduce waste 那就是减少垃圾 ，reduce pollution 那就是减少污染。所以呢，鲸鱼在这个抗击气候变化方面可以成为很惊人的帮手。他们通过一种被称为鲸鱼帮浦的方式减少碳。那 in English how do we say it？ 鲸鱼帮浦 whale pump。Whale
pump.
Whale pump.
All right, so how and why can these whales be so special, right? What's going on? How do these whales pump actually help the environment? It says whales often feed in deep waters and release their feces near the surface. So there in that last sentence, everyone, we saw release feces, and release is a verb. It's to allow a substance to flow out from somewhere. An example sentence we could all use is, after heavy rainfalls, or after heavy rainfall, rivers often release large amounts of water into surrounding areas, causing flooding downstream.
Release 这个动词呢，在这边指的是释放物质或是能量。那 release 后面也可以加上压力 ，release one's stress， 那就是释放一个人的压力。那 release 也可以指人被释放，像是呢 ，the prisoner was released， 那就是犯人被释放出来，或者是 the patient can be released too， 那就是病人可以从医院出院。那 release 还可以指发行啦、推出，像是 a new game 新款的游戏 ，a new song 新的一首歌 ，a new movie can all be released.
So what was released from the whales?
What? Feces.
Feces.
Yeah.
And feces, you guys will enjoy this word.
也就是粪便。好，这个是正式的用法。那如果是在一般的这个平常的用语当中，我们就是说 poop。
Yeah, it's poop.
对，正式的地方我们要说 feces。所以课文说，鲸鱼通常在深水当中进食，并在接近水面处排放它们的 feces， 它们的粪便。
Okay, so how do their feces help? Well, it says their feces contain rich nutrients and encourage the growth of plankton, which in turn remove a large amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. There, everyone, we see the word encourage, which is a verb. It is to make something more likely to happen or develop. So an example sentence we could all say is, regular exercise and a balanced diet can encourage good health.Encourage
在这边是促进跟助长的意思，那它也有鼓励的意思在哦，像是呢 encourage somebody to do something， 那就是鼓励某人去做某事。那再来我们看到的 nutrient 指的是养分、营养，那 plankton 指的是浮游生物。所以整理一下，课文在说的是鲸鱼的粪便含有丰富的营养素，并且可以促进浮游生物的生长。
It's like the circle of life. All right, well, we also saw in that sentence in turn, which means happening one after another, usually in a certain order because of something else. So in this case, their feces turns into the edible food for the plankton, and then the plankton somehow releases or decreases carbon dioxide.
in turn 这边呢是继而后来或是因此，那这边就是说呢，接着他们就会进而的移除大量的二氧化碳 ，carbon dioxide 刚刚有讲过，哈，就是二氧化碳的意思。那从哪边移除呢 ？From the atmosphere.
Yeah, and we see the word atmosphere, which is a noun. Atmosphere refers to the layer of gases surrounding the Earth or other planets, commonly known as air. So an example sentence we could all use is, the atmosphere protects us from the harmful rays of the sun. Because if we didn't have an atmosphere, we would be walking and all of a sudden we would just burn up. And so we need that atmosphere.
所以 atmosphere 大气层是很重要的。那这个字 atmosphere 可以指气氛，好像是呢一个放松的气氛 ，a relaxed atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, you could say, oh, our house gives off a relaxed atmosphere. Okay. Moving forward, it says, what's more, there's also whale fall.
哦，更重要的是还有经络，鲸鱼的鲸落下的落，经络。
All right, so what happens next? While all living things build up carbon in their bodies, whales store a whole lot more because of their size and long lives. Okay, so they can hold it longer for a longer time because they build it up. There we see build up, which means to make something bigger, stronger, or more important over time. And then we also see a whole lot. So they can store up a whole lot, which means very much. So we could say it could also mean a whole bunch of something. So essentially, you guys, it's a lot of. They can hold a lot of something.
OK， 那我们首先看到的 build something up 就是累积。那这个 a whole lot 是非常的意思，可以用来修饰比较级。所以呢，虽然所有的生物都会在体中积累碳这个东西，但是由于它们也就是这些抹香鲸们的体型和长寿这件事情，让它们可以储存更多的碳。
All right, so finding out more about these sperm whales, what happens next? It says, oh no, when they die, their bodies sink.Taking the carbon to the ocean floor. This keeps the carbon out of the air for centuries.
哇哦！所以当他们死亡的时候呢，他们的身体就会下沉，带着碳到海洋的底部。那这个呢，就会让碳在数个世纪内都不再进入空气当中。Wow, they're heroes.
They are superheroes, right? They're the superheroes of the ocean. All right, so everyone, for you, that brings us to our For You Chat question.What are some threats sperm whales face in today's world? And what can we do to protect them?
Okay, so I think global warming is maybe affecting them.
Okay, global warming. Overfishing could be something.
Yes, but do people, overfishing, so maybe they don't have enough food to eat.
Exactly, and the way when fishermen throw out their nets with pollution.Maybe the sperm whales get caught in the pollution or they eat plastic they're not supposed to eat. That could also harm them.
Yeah, so what can we do to protect them?
What can we do to protect them? I mean, we could try to clean up the oceans.
Yes, or maybe we can reduce our use of plastic.
Right, yeah. Those are some ways that we could. What about you guys? What do you think that we can do to protect these superhero whales? All right, well, ask your classmates.Ask your teacher. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoy this article. My name is Adam.
And I'm Elsie.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Vocabulary Review. Observe. Mary observed that her son has been acting a lot more grown up over the past year. Panic.I started to panic when I found that my cat wasn't anywhere in the house. Reduce. After Jason reduced the amount of sugar in his diet, he started losing weight right away. Release. The factory was heavily fined and shut down for releasing chemical waste into the river. Encourage.The new policies aim to encourage the use of clean energy by increasing taxes on coal. Atmosphere. The rocket took off, and it took only a minute to leave the atmosphere.
智慧小补帖
Vertically. Carbon. Feces.Nutrient. Plankton.